Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this information session for fall of 2022 Office of Undergraduate Research. My name is Pamela Karimi. I'm the director of the Office of Undergraduate Research, and today I have the honor of hosting Alex Johnson, who is the director of the Semester for Impact at the College for Social Innovation. Alex holds a BFA in drama from New York University's Tisch School of the Arts and an MA in theater and performance studies from Stanford University, and currently he's in the process of completing his own PhD at Stanford University. And we are happy to have him this morning. Together with Alex, I'm hosting two other members of our university, Alyssa Snizek and Eric Cabral. They're both from the Career Center at UMass Dartmouth. And if you have any questions towards the end of this panel, you can address them to Alex as well as Alyssa and Eric. They're with us today for any questions that you might have regarding opportunities for research and internship in Boston. So on this note, I'm going to turn the platform to Alex. Alex, the platform is all yours.
Great. Thank you so much, Pamela. I can share my screen, right?
Absolutely.
Great. I'm going to do that in a second. But hello, everybody. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Good to be here. I really appreciate the time. What I want to do today is talk to you a little bit about the program that we run and how I think that might fit in with some of the questions that students have when you're a sophomore and a junior and you're starting to think, what's going to happen when I graduate? I know there's a couple of us here today. So if you're a student or a faculty member, you're on this call, feel free at any time to drop a question into the chat. I'm happy to sort of integrate those and take those questions as we go. And I think that sometimes makes things a little livelier to be able to hear your perspective. So I'm going to share my screen here. Thank you. And let me make the slideshow come up. Brilliant. Okay, so can you all see this? Lovely. So we're going to be talking about research, internships, and the broad category of what we call purpose-driven careers. And in particular, I'm going to tell you a lot about a program that my organization runs called Semester in the City. As Pamela introduced me, I am from an organization called the College for Social Innovation. And you can find out more about us if you ever are interested by going to this website that I'm going to type in the chat for you, collegeforsocialinnovation.org. We've been around for several years, have had a partnership with UMass Dartmouth for, I think, 5 years. And a number of UMass Dartmouth students have joined us in our program over the years. I'll tell you a little bit about that in a bit. But really what I want to do is I want to start by telling you a story about PS64. Like most people who work in education, I did not think I would ever work in education. I had no interest in working in education. I didn't like kids. I didn't want to be around schools. I was not especially a terrific student myself. And I think that's often the case for people who end up working in education. I was an actor. Pamela introduced me, we were talking about how I have a BFA in theater, and I was in New York. I was performing, I was auditioning, and I was trying to build a life as a working actor in New York, which was just about as hard as you can imagine it is. And because of that, I was taking any kind of job, any kind of gig, any kind of short-term work I could find. I said yes to everything. I moved furniture, I worked in restaurants, I sold hats, I did a little bit of everything. And one day, a friend of mine said, you know, my daughter is at the school and they don't have an after-school program. They said they're looking for people to do it. Do you think you would want to do that? I said, of course, I'll go teach a theater class. And there's PS64, which those of you who know New York, PS64 is Lower East Side, is sort of near Tompkins Square in the East Village. And I was near where some of the theaters I was working at were, so I was great. Short term, couple classes, no problem. Teaching in middle school, I'll walk in, it'll be fine. And I walked through the doors, I think probably about midway through September in 2010, and it changed my life completely. I had 12-year-old students. The class was a nightmare. Everything was chaos. We never got anything done. And I loved it. It was instantly, it was like a light bulb went on for me of like, this is what I should be doing. This is what I'm here to do. I loved meeting with the students. I loved getting to know them and their families. I loved, helping them discover themselves, helping them discover the world It was really, really transformational for me. I got lucky. A lot of people never get that lucky to have the moment where the light goes on and they realize what it is they want to do. A lot of people never get the chance to discover that combination of enjoyment and purpose and an opportunity, right? That help you build more than just a job or a gig or a short time kind of work situation, but help you build something more like a career. I've worked since then in and around the intersection of arts, education, and community service. Those are the three things that I really care about. And I've been lucky to build my career at the intersection of those three things. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the project that we're working on right now and how I think that can help you get, not have to rely on the kind of luck that I did. I got lucky and I happened to fall into a job that, really changed my life. I don't think everybody should have to get lucky. I think this should be something that should be built into our college programming. And luckily here at UMass Dartmouth, we have that kind of programming available. You have a great career center. Eric and Alyssa, who are on here today, are ready and willing to help you find these opportunities and find these ways in which you can build a purpose-driven career. So what do we do? There's two questions before we get started. This is something for you to kind of ruminate on and have in your head. You don't need to answer these out loud or in the chat. But for students listening to this, I want you to think, what do you wish was clear about post-graduation life but isn't? What are the things you're like, I think that's how it works, but I don't really know? What do you wish was clear? And for faculty and staff, I'd be curious for you to think, what became clear to you after you graduated and started your career? What were the things that, 2 or 3 years out of your college experience, you said, oh, now I get it, right? That's how that works. Keep those thoughts in your mind as we talk a little bit today. So, like I said earlier, I work for an organization called the College for Social Innovation. Our mission is to educate and inspire the next generation of problem solvers through fully credited, hands-on learning experiences that are meaningful, accessible, and life-changing. There's a couple different pieces to that, but what I want to focus on today is this idea of the learning experience that's hands-on and that you get college credit for, and the ways in which that experience can be life-changing. I'm going to talk to you particularly about what we call our Semester in the City program. This is a full semester where you come to Boston and you spend a whole semester with us. We have our own apartments that you live in. We have classes that we teach. We have all kinds of programs that we run while you're up here in Boston. But what we fundamentally do is, if you look in the third line here, this is the biggest thing that we do in Semester in the City. Well-supported fellowships in the social impact sector. Students join us for a transformative 15-week program that allows them to make a difference while building essential skills and networks. What that really means is we're going to get you a really good internship. And it's going to be an internship in what we call the social impact field. Anything from nonprofits to government to social mission businesses. We want to make sure you discover and learn about and see those pathways in how you can connect an issue you might care about, like, for example, the environment, to an organization already doing that work in Boston. And you can have an internship there for 15 weeks, really in depth, get to work on meaningful projects, and then realize, oh, this is what I want to do. Or in some cases realize, oh, this is not what I want to do. That's equally helpful. But giving you the experience is the only way to get you that clarity about what's going to happen post-grad. That's what we're really trying to do. So the program, Semester in the City, which you'll often hear us talk about as SITC, like I said, is about a change-making internship placement. This happens Monday through Thursday. It's 30 hours a week, so it's like a real job. And then you have 2 classes on top of that. We have a class called the Social Innovators Toolbox that's about kind of the theory and the history of social change. We also have a class called Becoming a Problem Solver. That's active, reflective, deep thinking about your internship experience and about your future career prospects. What is it you want to do? What have you always been told you should do? What do you really feel like you're supposed to do? Right? How do you answer those questions? These are big questions. And I think for any of you who are sitting there as, sophomores, juniors, even seniors, sitting there asking yourself these questions. What do I want to do? Where do I want to go from here? Those questions can't get answered on your own. In order to have really good answers to those questions, you need to have experiences. You need to meet new people. You need to sort of develop those conversations. And we build the sort of set of opportunities for you to help answer those questions. And we do this all in Boston. Those of you who are from the Massachusetts area, you probably have spent a little bit of time in Boston, but it's a great place for you to come and start a career. It's a great place for you to come and just kind of live. It's really fun. This is a very vibrant chapter in the city's history. I've lived in Boston for about 15 years. I really love it here. And there's so many different opportunities, great restaurants, great arts and entertainment and culture. And it's a beautiful place. And so for those of you who are looking to get off campus for a little bit, coming to Boston is something you might overlook. You might think, oh, I should go study abroad. I should go to London. I should go to Paris or wherever you might be thinking about going abroad. And those are great things. I lived in Barcelona for a couple of years, and I think living abroad is wonderful. But some of the greatest opportunities that are for you are right on your doorstep. They're right up the road in Boston. So I want to really encourage you to think of that as an opportunity. The program works like this. This is like a week in the life of someone who's doing semester in the city, SITC. As you can see, the bulk of this time is devoted to that internship. You're spending 30 hours a week in depth working on often fairly small teams. Most of the nonprofits we work with are 10 to 20 people on the staff. And so you're a really integral part of the team. They really need your help. They're really excited to have you. So you're working on meaningful projects. You're a part of big meetings. You're really getting to be a part of the fabric of that organization, because this isn't a 2-hour-a-week volunteer gig. A lot of the organizations that we talk to, the nonprofits, they say one of the biggest problems they have is people want to come and volunteer. They want to show up and they want to volunteer for, an hour a week, 2 hours a week, 3 hours a week. That's not that helpful. There's not a whole lot you can do. It's good. I don't want to dismiss volunteerism. I think it's important. But there's only so much you can get done in 3 hours a week. And oftentimes organizations end up doing a lot of work to get ready to help the volunteers who come in. And that time can be better spent doing direct service for the programs and projects that they really care about. So when you're able to step in, you're going way beyond volunteering. You're doing something really in-depth, something really enriching. So you can see, in addition to that internship, you've got some classes, that Wednesday class called Social Innovators Toolbox, and that Friday class called Becoming a Problem Solver. These classes are occasionally in person. I would say they're probably right now about 75% in person, 25% remote. And we'll sort of continue that kind of hybrid model as we move forward. And then you'll see you also have time in the afternoons and the evenings for community life, to hang out with your new friends. We have about 60 students a semester do this from about 20 different colleges. And so you get to meet, lots of people from different areas of the country, different areas sometimes of the world. And, we want you to hang out. We want you to spend time together. We want you to get to know each other. And so we build in time and opportunities and activities for you to kind of spend that time together. And this is what, like I said, a general kind of week in the life works like. It's about your internship. We have, I just did the numbers on this. I think we have 181 organizations that we work with here in Boston. So a really wide variety, lots of different styles and types of, again, government agencies, nonprofits, and social mission businesses, what we call the social impact sector. And you're going to do 400 hours with them. That's 30 hours a week over the course of the semester. You can see here a couple different examples of internship sites we've worked with before, internship models, everything from people doing youth development work and academic work with something like St. Stephen's Youth Program, to working with seniors and elderly folks at the East Boston Social Centers. I think there was actually a UMass Dartmouth student who was that fellow at one point. There are lots of environmental pieces. So if you're interested in sustainability, we have a lot of environmentally interested organizations. We have lots of legal organizations. If you're thinking about something in the criminal justice or legal field, we have everything from the Center for Immigrant Organizing to the Conservation Law Foundation, a lot of different kind of political and legal institutions. And then just broadly, we have a really wide array of other organizations, from arts and culture to museums to schools to government offices in City Hall, really, really broad range of possible internships for you. The question students always ask here is like, well, how am I going to know what kind of internship I'm going to get? How am I going to know what kind of internship I might want? We have a whole process we go through where we match every student who comes into our program with the organizations that are out there in Boston. We ask the host organization, what do you need? What's a project you're working on? What's something you really care about right now? What is it that you like? What's that project that you've always wanted to get to? It's really important, but you just don't have time, you don't have staff. Tell us about that project. It's often things like making a grants database, or helping write a grant, or producing an event, or sort of building capacity on some of the programs that already exist. And so most organizations tell us, oh, we'd really love a semester in the city person to come in and do this. And then we talk to the students who are applying, and a part of the application is you tell us, I'm interested in this kind of thing. I'm interested in this kind of work. I want to build these kind of skills. And oftentimes you'll tell us about, in order to get credit for my major for this internship, it needs to be something related to psychology or sociology or what have you, right? There's a broad range of what that could be. Because we want to make sure that, again, you get credits for this. UMass Dartmouth, because we've been a partner for several years, UMass Dartmouth awards these credits, but your major may not always accept them if the internship doesn't line up. If you're a marketing major and you get an education internship, the marketing department isn't going to allow that in for major credit. And so we want to make sure we line those things up for you really well. So it's all about this match, making a really good match between an organization that is looking for someone just like you and someone like you saying, I think this is what I want to do. I think this is what the next step is for me. Someone searching for clarity, someone searching for contribution. We put those two things together. And that's the core and sort of central area of our program. The results so far, again, we've been doing this for about 6 years. The results have been really good, which is why I have a slide about it. If our results were not good, I wouldn't be bragging about them. But we have really, really strong results, and we're really proud of them. Students who do our program report huge increases. You see 94% here, huge increases in self-confidence. Coming to do a program like this is a great opportunity to try something out, and you walk away feeling like, hey, I really did that. I really contributed to that. Or I was talking to one of our fellows the other day, and I was saying, oh, how's it going? And she was like, well, they treat me like I really work here. well, you do, for 30 hours a week, you're a really important part of the team. And she was so proud of the contribution that she had made. That's one of the biggest gains that we see. Another one is that 92% of our alumni from our program report increased clarity. They come out of the program and, like I said, the light goes on and they go, that's what I want to do. I knew I wanted to do something in law, but then I had this internship and now I know I want to work in this aspect of the legal field with these kind of people in this kind of organization. The only way to get that kind of clarity is to get out and experience it, right? Get out and try something. And then this was really cool. So in our last survey that we did of our internship sites, we asked them, how likely would you be to hire or interview the fellow that you had, the person who was interning through semester in the city? And 88% said they would hire or at least interview the person that they had at their internship site, their fellow. And that's really exciting to us because part of our goal is to help connect you to these purpose-driven careers, is to help connect you to this idea of how can I match the things I'm interested in with the stuff that's out there and sort of, get the opportunities and build a purpose-driven career. And we're having a lot of success with that. We're really excited. Several UMass Dartmouth students have gone on to work with their site placements. So in some cases, it was a criminal justice major who now is working as a reentry associate, helping people who are leaving the prison system come back into society. And that was her internship. We have another student who was working on developing a food pantry for seniors, and now she works for that organization. And so UMass Dartmouth students have had a lot of success in this. I think often because UMass Dartmouth students tend to already know a little bit about what life is like here in New England, but certainly what life is like in Boston. They have more experience of it. They have a little stronger relationships of it. and they come in with a little bit more context. So you actually kind of have an advantage over someone coming from, a college in Iowa, for example. you already kind of know the way we do it here in Massachusetts. This was another really cool result that we saw in a recent survey. So we asked all of our alumni of all of our programming from Semester in the City in the past, what are you up to? Where are you at now? And 81% of our alumni are in full-time employment. You can see 16% are doing some kind of part-time employment, and 3% are in graduate school. But 100% of the alumni that we serve are either in a full-time job, a part-time job, or grad school. Nationally, you can see the 17% who are seeking employment. What this suggests to me is that the students who are doing our program, and we've had about 550 in the last couple of years, the students who are doing our program are coming out with enough clarity that they go, as soon as I graduate college, I know what I want to do. I'm not just going to kind of hang out and try to find something and try to figure something out and have those years of, what you might call kind of like searching, which is good, right? Like, seeking employment is good, trying new things is good. But I don't think you should have to wait until you're 22, 23, 24 with a bunch of student debt to try new things. I think you should get to do that while you're in school. And that's what the Semester in the City program, and that's what UMass Dartmouth and the Career Center really care about. It's getting you these opportunities while you're enrolled in school, getting you credit so that you can advance in your major, and making sure that you're graduating UMass Dartmouth with a sense of what you want to be and what you want to do. We have a couple big things that I think we've learned along the way, and I wanted to share a couple of these before we turn it over for questions, because this is my takeaway. This is my slide. I know that the other slides, those are things we've used for other things. This is the one I made because this is what I really feel we're taking away from the program, or at least I've learned. I think the big thing, as I've been talking about a lot, is clarity, right? You see this first bullet point, clarity comes from experience. There is no way to have real meaningful clarity without getting out there and trying it. You can read a lot. I'm a big reader. I am a big researcher. As Pamela said, I'm working on my own degrees, my own learning. I love to read. I love to learn. But sometimes you just got to get out there and do it. And there's no replacement for that. So that's where the clarity comes from, is experience. And I've also been thinking a lot of how purpose comes from this combination of what you bring in, your experiences and what you know, and the people you meet who help you realize new things and help you sort of, think about new things and open your eyes to new things that you might not have seen. Your purpose is the combination of that inner, interest and this sort of outer relationship. And all of a sudden you go, oh, I see how my concern about the environment matches up with these people's idea of environmental justice. And now I go, I want to work in environmental justice. That's what I want to do. That's my purpose. If all you have is the thing inside and you never meet those other people and you never have those other relationships, you don't really have a purpose. You have an interest. Your purpose comes from being able to connect the thing you have inside with the information and world and relationship outside of yourself, outside of your campus, outside of Dartmouth, right? It's a big world, right? And going out there and meeting it is going to get you that clarity. It's going to get you that purpose. And then the last note here is about the difference between a career and a job. I was telling you earlier about how when I was an actor in New York, I was taking any job I could find. Anything that was willing to, give me a paycheck, I would say yes to. And I worked retail and I worked, back office of things, and I did administrative work, I did everything. But that's different than a career. And a career is really where you're saying, I am using my time at work to drive towards things that I really care about and to build for myself a long-term vision of how I'm going to contribute to this cause that I care about, of how I'm going to have economic security for myself. I have this job that I currently have right now. It's a lot better than when I was moving furniture, in terms of my personal security and feeling like I have, not just work that I care about doing, but also a career that's going to continue onward, that I've built from when I was 22, but it's going to sort of continue onward as at that intersection of arts and education and community life and service. So what do we do at Semester in the City, College for Social Innovation? We provide the experiences that give you clarity. We provide you the people, we connect you to the people who help you find your purpose. And we give you the reflection and support so you can turn that purpose into a full career. A purpose-driven career isn't something that's just going to land in your lap. It kind of did for me, but that's a 1 in a million. I can't tell you how lucky I am that happened to me. Don't count on that. If you really want to have a purpose-driven career, you need to seek it, and you need to put yourself in the position to access it. And that's what Semester in the City is all about. That's what we do. We run our programs in the fall and spring. We have an application that is live right now. I'll show you right here. I can send I'm going to drop the links into the chat as well, so you can see them. So you can see we have an interest form where if you just want to sort of tell us a little bit about yourself, we can set up a conversation. That's the interest form right there in the chat, and you can use these QR codes as well. And then if you say, you know what, I already know I really want to do this. This is something I'm really interested in. There's our application. The application takes about, I would say it takes about an hour. There's a few short answer questions and a lot of self-reflection about who you are and what you've learned so far. And then that will, introduce you to us as a staff, and we'll set up a time to interview you and learn a little bit more about you. And you also see, again, our website, collegeforsocialinnovation.org. So these QR codes can, help you navigate some of those things. I also want to just put in my in the chat here, I'm just going to put my own email. Feel free to reach out to me whenever. I'm alex.johnson@collegeforsocialinnovation.org. And I always love to hear from students. I am a teacher at heart and always. And so I'm always looking to hear from UMass Dartmouth students. I've met a lot of really great ones, and I'd love to meet more. So I think those are my only things I really want to share with you here this morning. I want to open it up now to some questions. So why don't I'm going to stop sharing and turn it over back to my colleagues, Eric and Alyssa, and see if you have any questions from the Career Center, if there are things from your side. And for any students who are here, if you have any questions, please, I'm here as long as you need me. I would love to be a resource for you.
Yeah, the only thing that I would love to add in what Alex has been talking about is, of course, he's going to be selling his program and talk highly of it, and I can back everything up. I have actually been to graduation ceremonies at Semester in the City with multiple cohorts, and I can say that it's a life-changing experience. And I can see that not only at our UMass Dartmouth students, but I can see it through students at other universities. And it is, Alex did touch upon this, but a great networking opportunity for you to be able to expand your network and your professional experience in your internship, but also think about the professionals that you're meeting at Semester in the City, as well as all of the students within your cohort that you're with on a weekly and a day-to-day basis. So it really is a phenomenal opportunity to put yourself out there, do an internship, of course, but I would say the first thing that always comes to my mind is it's life-changing, and it really helps you grow in your confidence and your abilities and just kicking off your professional skills. That's all I really wanted to add.
Thank you, Alyssa. I really appreciate that. Yeah, the graduation ceremonies at the end of our semester are like, we have a planning meeting for that after this, and I'm so excited. It's my favorite part of the semester. It's great because all the students get to reflect and share their experience and show off what they worked on, and it's a great sort of moment for everybody to celebrate the experience. It's my favorite part of what we do. It's really fun. So I know we have a couple students on here. I am happy to take any questions from anyone, especially around, how does this fit into your career and at UMass Dartmouth, things you're learning, things you're curious about. I am here as a resource. What can I answer for you?
Alex, before we turn the platform to students, it seems like Fiona has a question. Fiona, we're going to turn to you soon after this. I just wanted to also let everybody know that this event is organized by the Office of Undergraduate Research. And when some people might ask why, what does research have to do with internship? The truth is that in many fields, including nursing, the arts, any field connected to the government and politics, you need both experiences, and both experiences actually complement one another. Research complements internship and vice versa. Also, in my Office of Undergraduate Research, we prepare students for competitive national scholarships like Marshall and Truman. And for a lot of these scholarships to materialize, you actually need to have both research and internship experience in order to be successful. So I just wanted to remind you that research has a broader definition, especially for many fields related to the government, related to the arts, and social issues. So please think of it as something that is closely tied to your experience in the job market and also in nonprofit organizations. So that's all I wanted to share. And on this note, I want to turn the platform to Fiona, who had a question.
I can't hear you, Fiona. No, you're muted.
Okay, there we go. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, I can hear you.
Hi. So I came in a little late, so I apologize if I missed something. But I was just curious. I'm a psychology and studio arts major, and I wanted to try to combine the two. So I was curious with opportunities and possibly like a design but clinical atmosphere for psychology.
So yes, and this also actually connects to what Pamela was just talking about the connection between research and internships. We do have a lot of our internships that link up really well with research projects that are ongoing, what you would think of as like field work, right? I mean, there's lab work and there's field work. A lot of our internships are often supporting field work that's already happening in different kinds of organizations, including some in psychology. The challenge is, because you're only an intern for a semester, we can't really put you in a clinical atmosphere. You're not really going to be working with patients in the same way because it's just not legal for us to do that. However, what you could do, and as I think about ways to link that kind of studio art interest and major with psychology, and I Fiona, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm very curious about that. I think that's a really cool combination. I'd love to hear more. But we have a lot of organizations doing work at the intersection of mental health and the arts. And I could see a lot of different opportunities for you to say, hey, this is what I need. And we, oftentimes when students apply, we look through our list of, organizations and we go, oh, maybe here, maybe there. Oh, and sometimes it's right away we know. But oftentimes when students apply, we think, oh, I don't know if we have an organization. We go out and look for one. And so I can think of, from my own network in the arts, I can think of 10, 15 organizations that do really interesting work at the intersection of artistic practice and mental health. I know lots of people working in that field just for my own sort of personal, work. And so I can think of a lot of organizations we don't yet partner with, but could, that would really fulfill that, that would help you kind of work at that intersection a little bit, Fiona. So the answer there partially is, the sooner you apply, the more time we have to find something that really fits for you. Our deadline for the fall is, I think, April 15th, something like that, April 15th, 16th, right around there. And so the sooner you apply, you can apply at any point between now and then. Then the sooner you apply, the more time me and my team have to go and look and say, oh, this arts organization is already doing work around mental health, and that's really going to connect in interesting ways. I can think of two right off the bat. Have you ever heard of Company One Theater? Mine are sort of more performing arts because that's more of my background, but Company One Theater does a lot of really interesting work at the intersection of theater and mental health. And then an organization that I love, that I have a lot of friends at, called Zoomix, which is in East Boston, and does a lot of work with adolescents, mental health, and music. And so putting those things together. So some of those organizations also have studio art components as well, and like design components as well. And so I could see ways for you to craft a research project that is conducted through this internship at a site like that. So certainly, it's well within the realm of possibility. It's just a matter of, like, the sooner you apply, the more time we have to kind of work that out for you. That's a cool idea, Fiona. I'm really interested in that. It's really neat. Thank you. Other questions? I can give actually. I was thinking, Fiona, what you were saying made me think of a student that we have in the program right now who came in with a very specific need around landscape architecture. There's not a lot of landscape architecture majors, and because she applied early enough, we had time to go out and find. She's going to work with the Department of the City of Boston, where her internship is in landscaping a new park. And it's just like such a cool opportunity for a major that she wouldn't have found otherwise. And we didn't know existed, but because she applied early enough, we had the time to go and like do a little bit of looking to make sure she was going to get major credit for landscape architecture for her program. So it's certainly, everything is possible here. I shouldn't say everything. Most things are possible. Again, everything's maybe overstating the case a little bit, but certainly most things. Other questions?
I have a quick question, but that's more of like because of tech issues. I came late and I was having all these complications. So could you fill me in, or could I get filled in? Or when could I get filled in?
Answer, I can give you a little bit of context now, and then okay. I want you to send me an email and you and I can set up a time to talk.
All right.
So what we're talking about here is this internship program that's going to help you get credits for your major, whatever that major might be. And the program's called Semester in the City. You come to Boston for a semester. We put you in a really cool internship where you work on a social impact cause that you really care about, that resonates with you. And we help you plan for what we call a purpose-driven career, right? A whole life that is going to be built on, solving a problem you really care about and finding jobs that let you do that. And so that's like what we're all about. So Kareem, what year are you?
I'm a freshman.
Freshman, oh great. Yeah. Well, welcome to UMass Dartmouth. I hope it's treating you well so far. And do you know what you're majoring in?
I'm majoring in photography, and that's a separate question because I was going to ask about film. It's not my major, but they don't have film as a major here. But could I do film and photography?
Yes. So there are two different ways that would potentially happen. One is we could place you with a number of organizations doing arts related work. I don't know of a photo gallery necessarily off the top of my head, but I could certainly find some. But one of the other things is our nonprofits are often asking for students with design and photography and film skills because they do really great work, but the nonprofits themselves, they don't have time to film it. They can't make promotional kind of materials. They need someone like you who has that interest and has that skill to come in and help them make a reel that they can put to, help drive donations and help drive membership and help, sort of support their work. Nonprofits tend to be really good at service, not as good at marketing. And so like having someone like yourself, who's a good photographer, who cares about film, can help them develop a new, sort of marketing side that can support their work in the short term, but also in the long term. We've seen students do that, particularly around like website design. Often we've had students come in who have like a CS, computer science, or web design background, and they get placed with an organization that needs a new website, and that's their project for the semester, which is super cool. Because then also in your portfolio, you get to be like, oh yeah, here's the link to this website that I built in a semester for this organization, which is a really cool thing to be able to share. But that's kind of the basics, Kareem. My email, I'm just going to drop in the chat again. College for Social Innovation.org. So if you just send me an email, we'll find a time to talk in the next couple of weeks, and we can I can help answer some more questions and think through with you what kind of goals you have and how those might fit with what we offer. Because I would love to see more art students doing this program. I'm an artist myself. I think figuring out a way to use your art skills to do good in the world and make it a job is like the golden egg of being an artist, is like, how do I sort of not wait tables forever? And how do I, make sure that I am using my skills for good? That's something I really care about. So, those of you who are arts majors and Fiona and Kareem, I encourage you to go talk to your other friends who are in arts majors, tell them about the program, because that's a piece that I'm really trying to build for sure.
Thank you, Alex, for that. And also for Kareem, I wanted to let you know that we do have a minor in the CVPA in Film and Media Studies. Look into that. And we also teach you through those courses that are offered through the minor. We teach you how to make films and documentaries and things of that nature. But thank you, Kareem, for joining us as a freshman. I always admire students who are very savvy about things like this from early on, because, you know, by the time you get to your junior and senior years, sometimes it can be a little bit late to start thinking about something. So I'm so glad that you're starting early. You're on the right track. The other thing that I wanted to mention, also related to the questions that Fiona had, Alex, is that, and I'm sure you agree with me, that the faculty members here at UMass Dartmouth can also be a good source for guiding students on where to start, where to go when they join your program, what is the best way for them to complement their education and their research projects, what is the best track for them, because sometimes faculty have a lot of experience with both the job market, the companies, and different organizations, as well as education, so they can actually see a good future for you if you pick the right option in the internship program. So don't forget to consult with your faculty members. Don't be shy. And if you feel like your faculty member is not responding to your email because they're too busy and things of that nature, feel free to contact me. Feel free to contact the Office of Undergraduate Research, and we make sure that you have the right person to talk to.
Yeah, as an add-on to that, it's not uncommon for professors to help broker the relationship with the new internship site, right? So if you have a professor who already works with an organization that would be good for this kind of internship, we are happy to take those referrals. That's one of the ways, in fact, we get a lot of these nonprofit organizations in touch with us. Is a professor of one of our schools will say, hey, this student really wants to do this kind of internship. They should do it at this organization with this person. And we go, great, that sounds good. You know, like, it's very easy for us to say yes to those kinds of things. And I think it's also, you know, your professors come across like people with all the answers, but it's important to remember that they had a lot of questions themselves, and they had a lot of, you know, searching and confusion, and they have their own journey that they can share with you, more than just their academic research, but also, you know, their personal and career journey as well. I think is a resource that you shouldn't hesitate to tap into. Fiona, it looked like you might have a question. Yes.
Yeah, because I wasn't here earlier, so because we're going to be into the city, do we dorm at a local school, or do we get an apartment? How does that work?
We have our own apartments that we rent to use. So we, we have, you think of them like dorms, but they're much more like apartment style living. And so we offer singles and doubles. And the apartments are great. It's in, do you know Boston at all, Fiona?
Yeah, I go there often. So
yeah, so if you know Alston, it's out in Alston near the Harvard Ave area of Alston. So really good Korean food, lots of fun, restaurants and places, and place to hang out. I used to live there, right near these apartments, so I know the area pretty well. And it's nice. It's where a lot of college students live, but you're living in a real apartment. It's not a dorm.
So there's a kitchen and.
Yes, there's a full kitchen, and we also give you. So we give you a stipend to do the program as well. So we pay you a little bit of money to do the program. You get $595 worth of a direct stipend, where we just write you a check and give it to you. And then we also do up to $385 of food reimbursement. So over the course of the semester, as you go grocery shopping or you go out to dinner, if you just sort of save that receipt and send it in to us, we then reimburse you for the cost of that, so that we make sure that you are eating. We want to make sure that students who do the program are, staying healthy and staying fed and staying focused on what they need to do. So we have those. And then we also offer a thing called a Changemaker Scholarship, where if you get recommended by someone on your campus, you just have to sort of bring them, hey, let me send you the link to that. The Changemaker Scholarship is up to $2,000. And it's a very easy form for a faculty member to fill out. And it's an easy way to help offset some of the costs around travel and getting to the campus or getting to Boston, some of the sort of basics. And so if you get nominated for that, like I said, it's up to $2,000.
Quick question about that scholarship. So do the faculty in CPA already know and they will recommend us, or can we ask them and then, or like
You should ask for a recommendation. I send out an email to faculty so that they know about
Okay.
this. But you should also feel free to go and ask for that recommendation. It's totally fine.
Okay.
In general, this is also a thing, this is like a good thing for you to know for the future. Pamela was talking about some things like Marshall scholarships, Truman scholarships. Some of that is going to have to come from you as the student, where you go to the Office of Undergrad Research and you go to your professor, you say, I want to do this scholarship. Can you nominate me? Can you sponsor me? Can you write my recommendation? You don't have to wait for them to nominate you for things. I think in high school, it's much more like, the teachers pick the students and that's who gets it. But in college, it's much more driven by you. So as you have programs you want to do that need professor recommendations, like don't be shy about asking for those. Professors write those things all the time. It's a big part of the job, actually. So don't be shy about that at all.
All right, thank you.
I'm back.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
hi, Fiona.
I don't know what happened.
That's okay.
So we ended on the Changemaker Scholarship. Did you share the link in the?
I did. I'm going to share that in the link. I'm going to share that in chat again for you, just so you have it. And
Thank you
what I
so
was
much.
just saying to Kareem is like, don't be shy about asking for that. Just feel free to go to any professors, who you are close with and say, hey, could you nominate me for this thing? This would be really great for me. I'm really excited about it. It's a good way to keep faculty engaged in what you're doing anyway. A good way to get some advice is to bring them this kind of idea.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions, thoughts, ideas?
I have another one.
Observation. Oh yeah, go for it, Fiona. I love it.
I'll go after Fiona. You go.
Okay, thanks. Corinne.
Okay, thank you. So I was actually interested in the spring of 24. That's what would probably work best with my schedule. However, I do have a lot of course requirements as a double major. So how does the course credit transfers work? Because I have to take 18 credits a semester in order to graduate within the 4 years.
You are a junior?
I am a sophomore now.
Okay,
yes.
Great. Good. So credits are often worked out on a department basis. And so I would say one version of this is for you to just go to your advisors and say, hey, which of these courses do you think could count towards major credit for me? So that because in some cases, this will count towards those requirements. But in other cases, other departments, will say, no, it has to be this course, it has to be this way. There's two other answers to this. One is, while you are doing the program, if any of these classes are offered online, we also often have students come to Boston and take the class online in addition to what they're doing here in Boston. And so that's sometimes the case. You could certainly ask your advisors about that, but that's not uncommon for students to do while they're here in Boston, is to take a class at their home campus online. And then the second answer, which I'm really excited about, but it hasn't been fully approved yet. So this is all going to be in the realm of possibility, but would be happening in spring 24 for sure, is a program we're calling Semester for Impact, which would happen at UMass Dartmouth. It would happen at college campuses across the country. And UMass Dartmouth, one of the reasons I'm really excited about it is you would be one of the founding 5 partners. We have 5 schools across the country who are going to be our first 5 organizations, first 5 schools to join this program, where you would get to do your internship actually somewhere down on the South Coast. And so you'd work either, anywhere from sort of Providence all the way to, the Cape, anywhere in that region. You could do your internship, get these credits, and stay at UMass Dartmouth. So you could continue to take a class or two while you are enrolled in the program, right? So you get the internship experience, you get to meet students from across the country, because there's a lot of this, these 5 founding campuses do a lot of online work. And we have a conference we're going to be running that the students will help produce and that you'll be a part of, and you'll get to show off your, research and project at Harvard every year. So that's sort of a big sort of, thing that'll be really cool. All of this has yet to be approved. Contracts have not been signed, but this would be operational for sure in spring 24. And so, you know, we got to see how these things shake out, but that could be an option for you as well, where you get to do the internship experience at Dartmouth and you knock out, and while you're there, you can knock out some of the, you know, prereqs as well. So that might
So
be
you said
possible.
that the conference, so wait, the conference would take place at Harvard?
Yeah, and so every semester, what we're going to do is for this Semester for Impact program, because our 5 campuses are spread all across the country, we're going to pay for every student who does the Semester for Impact to come to Boston, to come to Harvard for a couple days to do some in-person workshops, to meet some people. We'll have some keynote speakers, and the students will do their graduation, you know, kind of speeches and say, this is what I learned in this semester, this is what I did. And so it's a big opportunity for you to show off, again, what would be your field work, right? Your research, the thing that you learned along the way. It's a combination of, almost think of it like, it's a combination of like a TED Talk, a graduation speech, and a research presentation rolled into one, with a really great set of panelists and, you know, sort of research advisors who will be there sharing their own research as professionals, and, you know, bringing together. At College for Social Innovation, we really care about what we call experiential learning. And so we're trying to bring together other schools and leaders in the experiential learning world and students who have had that experiential learning opportunity to come together and share their ideas and share their resources, and building like a national learning cohort out of that, through these, you know, annual conferences we'll be running.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. But again, all of that is like yet to be signed. So I don't want to promise too much there. And I would say in the short term, the number one thing it sounds like would be good for you to do is go talk to your advisors and say, hey, there's this program I'm interested in. It could go a couple different ways. Can you tell me about how I could get some major credit for it? And feel free to loop me into that as well. Like, I have those meetings with professors all the time to talk about the program and, you know, give them some context. Yeah, I think that's probably the next step for you, Fiona.
Well, it's really convenient because I'm part of the Honors College, and so it's required for us to do like a research Apex internship type project. So it would like really work with that in general.
For sure. Yeah,
And
it definitely matches what a lot of the Honors College students are facing. That's I think we've had, I think 30-ish UMass Dartmouth students, and I would say 10 to 15 of them have been Honors College students in the past, because it lines up really well. But that's great. Kareem, you had a question.
Yeah, I did. It was regarding well, actually, first, my name's pronounced Karim.
Kareem, thank you.
And it's fine. And the links that you sent before, I was there and then I left and I came back. So could you send those links for the application and the information, I think, or the 2 links you sent before?
It's always the challenge with you know, the Zoom chat, right? You put valuable information in there and then it disappears. Give me a second. Let me pull those links up for you. There we go. So we've got, this is the first link I'm going to put in here is for the interest form. And so this is like a quick little, give us your email, you know, tell us a little bit about yourself. And that sets up a conversation with someone on my staff here. And then this is the actual application itself. Feel free to get started on the application, even if you're like, I can't finish this right now. It's totally okay to kind of like start the application, see what it's like, you know, don't be scared of it. It is something that, you know, you need to take seriously. We for sure have turned students away for not doing a good job on the application, but generally, if you are honest and open about who you are and what you're interested in, that's what we're really curious about. That's what we really want to see.
And when are the internship opportunity, I guess, slots, if that makes sense? Like, which semesters are offered?
We do fall and spring semesters, and we have internship availability for both semesters. I mean, like I said, we have 180 partners in Boston. So we never have a challenge finding an internship site for students. Oftentimes we sort of have 2 or 3 different options for each student. And like I said, we have 60 to 70 students a semester and 180 opportunities, right? So like, it's really easy to kind of match students up. And I think one of the big things I would have you think about, as Fiona is doing right now, is looking at your career looking at your academic calendar and thinking, oh, in order to get this degree, I need to take this class fall of sophomore year. So I need to be on campus to do that. Like you can kind of plan this out a little bit for when it's best for you to be off campus, because there are some semesters you're going to really need to be on campus to take certain classes, and or you might want to be on campus because you have a certain experience, or maybe it's your photography showcase. I want to make sure you're on campus for that. So so those are some things you should look into and sort of look forward to. But yeah, for sure, fill out that interest form and get to know us a little bit. And like I said, feel free to reach out to me anytime. I love hearing from students.
Perfect. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Alex, for that wonderful presentation. Thank you, Alyssa and Eric, for joining us today. And thank you to Ben, Fiona, Jasmine, Kareem, and everybody else who joined us for this meeting today. And so if you have further questions, please feel free to contact Alex. Alex, thank you so much for being so generous, for offering your email and your contact information. So thank you, everyone. I think this concludes our session.
Thank you so much, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
I look forward to hearing from you all soon.
Yes, I'll send you an email so we can
Sounds good, Karim. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Fiona.
Bye.